I don't know if this band has a name, but I am officially naming them the Rock Canyon Band.
Yeah!
And they've just done a delightful job tonight, and thank you. Would you like to eat while we talk for a minute?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, there's so many people that I would like to acknowledge and thank tonight, and we're not going to try to be too specific, but let me tell you how grateful we are for all of you. All of you have contributed in some way to Rock Canyon, and for some of you, that's just your thoughts and prayers for success, and some of it's very large and generous financial donations, and some of it is pounding the pavement, but in some way, we want to thank all of you for your many levels of support and contribution. Now, I would like to give one shout out, and I'm going to call him Senator Valentine, but I'm not sure that name is it Commissioner Valentine? Where is he? Would you please stand, Commissioner? Thank you. It's remarkably hard to single out individuals who have impacted this, but this conversation can't even be had, or this evening together can't even be here without Senator Valentine's early intervention, even perhaps before he was senator, I'm not sure, but many, many years ago. So thank you, Senator, Commissioner, for all that you do. Now, Ginger gave me a few talking points, and it won't surprise you that her name wasn't on my list. But can we just pause for a minute and thank Ginger for I was up the canyon yesterday with a couple of my kids hiking, and I looked over and I saw this woman, and she was taking rocks out of the canyon. And I quickly identified her as Ginger and yelled from a distance, "Hey, you can't do that." And you should have seen the look on her face. But I suspect every single rock that's here was hand-carried by Ginger for this event. So thank you, Ginger. And you talk about passion and drive and commitment and service to this canyon. Ginger, thank you so much for all that you do for this canyon. Well, as you know, last March we made a significant purchase in the mouth of the canyon. And to back up a little bit, when we made our announcement a couple of years ago that we purchased the large purchase from the Davis family, as that was coming to a conclusion, Ginger grabbed me by the side and she said, "Well, now we've got one other thing we need to do." And that's the first time I learned about this piece of property. And thank you very much to the generous donations by many of you here tonight in the city of Provo. We were able to team together and actually acquire that critical piece of property. That was last March. And tonight we have an opportunity to show you what we've been busy doing since last March, and I think you're going to be pleased and impressed with what we share with you. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but let me just share one thought with you. From time to time, I'm asked what I feel most proud about during the last 7 years of being mayor. And people think of this amazing building that we're in, and they think of Google Fiber, and they think of the vibrancy of downtown, and all those things are amazing. But 100 years from now, nobody will be using fiber. I'm afraid this building, Scott, despite your best efforts, might be worn and tired. But Rock Canyon will be even more valuable and beautiful than it is today. And so as I reflect on the opportunities I've had to be involved in, nothing stands out to me as much as this beautiful contribution to our valley from a quality of life perspective, an economic perspective, and just a great place to live. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you to all of you that have been involved with that. Now let me introduce Scott Henderson, our Director of Parks and Recreation, who will share a couple of thoughts with you.
In Parks and Recreation, we try to create spaces like the building we're in now, a park or a program that makes our community healthier and more beautiful. But the best work that we can do is to protect the natural wonders that have already been provided for us. Rock Canyon is at the forefront of Provo's beauty. We hope that you feel that Provo Parks and Recreation is a good partner with you in the management and protection of this canyon. I believe the preservation of this site is something that could have only happened in a place like Provo, where a mayor, municipal council, and activated citizens come together to protect their community. I want to take a moment to give recognition to the true talent in our Provo Parks and Recreation Department that have been supporting the progress of this project in this area. So if I could get those members of the staff to stand up. These are Doug Robbins, Assistant Director, Thomas McKenna, Projects Manager, Alicia Christensen, Community Programs Coordinator, and Mary Dunn, Community Events Coordinator. What we found in the middle of this project, it takes 5 of us to keep up with Ginger Woolley, so we keep trying as we go through. Based on an electronic counter that we have at the Rock Canyon Trailhead, and realizing currently that there are multiple ways to get into the canyon, we estimate multiple thousands of visitors come to the canyon every single day. I ask, in addition to these users, what is the number of citizens and visitors to Provo overall that reflect on the majestic backdrop to our community that Rock Canyon provides? Every football game or Provo feature on television starts by showing the mountains and canyons located so close to our urban center. This is another factor that makes Provo very unique. This canyon will experience the influence of dramatic growth of Provo, and we need to be ready to design the trailhead to handle the demands of ever-increasing use to mitigate the impact on this canyon. The new trailhead and amenities design should match the majesty of Rock Canyon, and we are excited about the concepts to be proposed. Recently, there have been some news features on Ray Beckham, former BYU professor and fundraiser, and a fellow Rock Canyon preservation donor. Ray is sponsoring all local elementary students to free visits to the recreation center to celebrate his 90th birthday. Ray is in his own individual fight right now, but still finds the energy to make his community better. In explaining why he wanted to provide a no-cost visit to the rec center program for kids that may not be able to afford it, especially in his compromised health condition, we asked if he really wanted to take this on. And this was a quote from Ray Beckham, and it had a big impact for me. No matter how much good you have done in the past or are doing now, there is capacity to do more good. This group here tonight has done much good, and Provo Parks and Recreation appreciates your support in protecting this treasure in our community, and we say thank you. Seemed like a long pause waiting for the applause. So now is my introduction. I would now like to introduce our next speaker. Ginger Woolley is the chair of the Rock Canyon Preservation Alliance, the citizens group which has been protecting the canyon for 47 years. Ginger personifies enthusiasm, dedication, and determination in her efforts to protect and improve this canyon. Ladies and gentlemen, Ginger Woolley.
I really appreciate the partnership that has come between Provo City and the Rock Canyon Preservation Alliance. We stand on the shoulders of founders like Francine Benyon, who has continued all these 47 years to be involved, to go to meetings with the Forest Service and fire chiefs and so forth. And we also have a founder here, Jordan Tanner, who we greatly appreciate, and others who saved the canyon from threats since the 1970s. Actually, there have been 5 major threats since that time that could have decimated what we value up there. And it has been The Citizens Watch Group, along with caring officials in both the city and the county and even the state, that have made a big difference. Well, the feds too, the Forest Service. Also, legions of dedicated citizens, such as many people in this room. I have to say that no public figure in office has exhibited a greater dedication and skill in dealing with some of these difficult, serious threats to Rock Canyon than Mayor Curtis. And I'd like a round of applause for Mayor Curtis. Yes, he deserves that. You can't believe the hours he has spent in negotiations, in working with our organization, in coming to quite a bit of understanding of the value that he sees in what's up there. Rock Canyon is an iconic landmark, and yet its value goes way beyond this little provo that we have. Alex Schmidt from the Save Our Canyon Foundation, we're a baby foundation compared to them. They say that along the whole Wasatch Range, this is the last standing canyon with high usage, without vehicular traffic, without noise that mars the wildness of it. And we also have a Dr. Renee Van Buren, who is a prominent environmental biologist, and she has said, quote, that it is the most accessible, biologically rich area in all of Utah County. Wow. Annually, new Exxon oil geologists and graduate students from faraway universities come to study this canyon because no other canyon has so much exposed geology covering hundreds of millions of years of geological history, as this one does. Many of us just think of those rock cliffs as simply stunning, majestic, and great place to climb. But we don't consider the scientific value. Some of you might not realize that Rock Canyon is a gateway to a vast wilderness along the Wasatch. You start on this trail, and you can either go up to Squaw Peak, you can go north to Hope Canyon, you can go up and over the Saddle and go into the South Fork of Provo Canyon. You can also go around the backside of White Mountain and go to Maple Flats or Slate Canyon. It is a gateway to wilderness, beautiful wilderness. However, approximately 50% of the people who start at the Rock Canyon Trailhead only experience the mouth of the canyon, going no farther, either due to time restrictions, due to health and physical impediments, or due to young children who can't run far. And yet, even in the mouth of the canyon, one can gaze upward at that awe-inspiring vista of the cliffs and look down and around at the ground level nature and experience a sense of wonder and renewal, just going a little ways. And I'm going to get personal here because I'm certainly the only individual in this room with 12 spinal fusions. And there are many days when I can only hike the mouth of the canyon. And I'm anticipating there will come a time I cannot hike it at all, sooner rather than later. And that might be some of you as well in this room. But the joy of knowing it's there, it's preserved, and knowing that the future generations have a chance to discover it and find a source of inspiration in some magnificent nature, which is likely to help those that come after us to value it. Just knowing that is a heartwarming thing for me, and I hope it is a heartwarming thing for those of you who for some other reason cannot hike far in the canyon. Among Rock Canyon visitors are the elderly, the toddlers, preschoolers, the elementary and high schoolers, and they come in big school buses, the university class groups. Older students study botany, biology, geology, entomology, ornithology. I'm gonna stop. But even art classes go up there. And we assume it to be a Provo thing, that people from far away places come. It's a destination. It's in the top 10 for TripAdvisor for Utah Valley. In a few minutes, you're going to see the unveiling of the master plan design, and I'm sure you're going to recognize how that design is going to promote visitors to begin their canyon journey with a greater degree of awe and reverence for the fascinating things up ahead of them. The astounding variety of wildlife, the rich diversity of plants and wildflowers, and the exposed geology, over 500 million years old of geology, is right there in the front. And they're likely to see it with greater interest and focus and truly appreciate the magnificence of it. And that will happen after they go through the Children's Nature Interpretive Center that will be for all visitors. The Rock Canyon Preservation Alliance, along with Provo City, has confidence that the physical realization of the elements of this master plan will be an invaluable tool to encouraging a higher level of respect and for this wild place, which should be regarded with deference, the deference it deserves. Doubtless, they're going to experience the canyon differently after going through it, recognizing its tremendous worth, treading lightly, and developing an attitude of stewardship. In a moment, Lars from PEC Design, we went through many companies before picking PEC, and we're very, very happy with what we've done. We'll unveil this much anticipated plan. 3 weeks ago, 19 members of our Alliance Steering Committee got together and we got a preview. And those 19 people were totally jazzed. And I'm thinking you're going to be jazzed too. But I want you to realize that this would not have happened without citizens who cared enough to generously give. And our gratitude for you is immense for what you have done and long-term implications for generations to come. We thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lars Anderson. I'm a landscape architect. I work for PEC, it's an engineering and landscape architecture firm. And I'm grateful to be here. We created a master plan that we want to share with you tonight. I want to thank Mayor Curtis and Scott Henderson and Doug and Thomas for choosing us to work on this project. I also want to thank Phil Allen, who's here tonight. He got me started in landscape design back in 1990 at BYU, and helped me understand that I love nature and I love designing with nature. And most important, I want to thank my wife for letting me be here tonight. Tonight's our 26th wedding anniversary. She's very gracious. So I want to go through this video and we're going to pause at certain areas and describe a little bit about the plan. inadequate on heavy weekends and a lot of visitors. We have increased the parking area, including the bus areas that you see there, and increased it by 37% in this master plan. The drop-off zones for students. Currently, the entrance, there is no plaza entrance really. Currently, there's an access road that goes up to the gate, and Provo City has to access that to go to the water tanks to the chlorinator every day. We'd like to change that and create a plaza entrance. Still allows vehicle access, but we want to remove the asphalt and make it look a lot more pedestrian friendly and more of an entrance to the canyon than the service road currently is. Feature of the master plan is the interpretive plaza. The idea here is to focus on the geology, the zoology, and the botany that you find in the canyon. So these interpretive panels would describe what's up there. And it's an area for visitors to learn about the area, the geology, everything that's up there. It's such a gem up there. And this would help students as well as people that are coming from out of town, or even residents that don't go up there as often. One thing that made me fall in love with rock canyon was when I was a BYU student, was going up to the kitchen and trying to rock climb. I'm not much of a rock climber, but I sure enjoyed learning about it. One of the things we wanted to bring into this plaza area was what we call the kitchenette. It's a kids climbing area where they can climb on smaller obstacles and learn about rock climbing, and it's kind of a preview of if they go further up the canyon to the kitchen and can practice up there as well. Currently is not as hospitable as you'd like, the one that's currently up there, although it does serve a purpose. We wanted to simply improve on that, not enlarge it necessarily, but just add some nice benches with the gabion basket theme, make it look more rustic, and then provide an area for, you know, small performing groups like the show here, something along those lines, or more importantly, discussions about the canyon and discussions with school classes, things like that. Design elements for the Rock Canyon area is restoration. We wanted to pull out, we mentioned, the existing asphalt and create a trail system, a network of trails for the geology, but also a network of trails so people could take a quick loop from the parking lot and come back down, or could continue along the Bonneville Shoreline Trail with biking. And one of the keys to that would be to remove the area where currently the vehicles cross the stream and replace it with a suspension bridge like this that spans the entire stream and would allow for access across that for pedestrians and for bicycles, and creates a pretty cool looking feature in the canyon. One of the more challenging aspects is the fire pits. There's many, many fire pits already up there. And the concept here would again be to restore many of those impromptu, or what we call social fire pits, to more, just 3 that were more defined and a little bit more controlled. And I know that's probably, so there's a lot of different opinions on that. We've been listening to all those opinions and trying to find the right balance. So this was one element, but you'll find just 3 of them at this point. Back over to Ginger, but before I do that, I want to mention that we have 3 boards back there and up here that will unveil the master plan and show you the phasing plan, so you can come and mill around and ask questions about that plan, and it gives you a little bit more detail. Of course, we can show the video again if you like, and we'll be able to go to those plans.
Something that we didn't see here that's important to mention is that for younger children or older adults, but particularly for children, we are creating 3 loops that are in the mouth of the canyon in the property that we acquired. One will be a wildlife loop, a botany or plant loop, and a geology loop. These will be easy for parents to take children through, and there will be information geared towards children in those loops. Just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Well, I think you can see why we're excited to share this with you tonight. How'd they do? Yeah. Good? So perhaps the first, most natural question is how soon? And let me, I guess, some good news and some bad news. The good news is we have an amazing plan. The bad news is it's not funded. And the plan comes in at roughly $1.5 million. Through some accumulation of RAP tax over the next few years, we have about 20% of that funding identified. Now, in my world, it's not that unusual to have a project like this that is not funded. I find that if you can dream it, if you can put it on paper, the likelihood of it coming to fruition is much higher than if you don't do those things. So we're introducing this tonight to you so that you can share our vision and the fun of this. Also to spread the word in the community that we would like help and assistance. If we're able to find some donors to help us partway through that or all the way through that, then there's nothing from stopping us from immediately beginning the construction of this project. So as you go out in the community, or as you consider yourself, if you have resources or would like to contribute, we would love to hear from you. And in the meantime, as a city, we'll be busily working, trying to come up with a funding source as well. Now, I know we've been here a long time. We do have a few minutes for any Q&A. Ginger, is that correct?
The Q&A will happen.
Okay.
We're gonna have to
Rather than a large group, okay.
If those on the master plan committee could stand up, then we're gonna stand ourselves over there
Perfect.
after.
Do you, both drawings or just specifically this one? Both
Just-
sides.
There are 8 of us here, so if we could stand up, we will just answer questions.
I'm not sure if you could all hear that. Let me repeat it just in case.
Okay.
We're going to have the members of the master plan committee at these boards, and you're welcome to come up and ask them specific questions. Lars is available for questions. Thank you for being here on your 26th anniversary. Is your wife here?
Yes.
Would you please stand? Yeah, she is standing. Okay, if we could ask the master plan committee to please stand so we can identify you. These are the people that you want to ask questions of. And with that, we'll end our evening and welcome to stay as long as you'd like. There's more food in the back, and ask all the questions. Thank you very much for being here tonight.